I definitely feel like superhuman. I feel like all my senses are firing on another level. I'm a star. I'm the man. I'm what everyone's watching tonight. I'm a I feel like I'm a bad match for anyone in the division. I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm fast. I'm strong. I'm high level everywhere. I feel like I was the main event. I feel like I'm one of the best in the world right now.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Athlete Central. Today we're going to talk about one of the most controversial stars in the UFC. Hated by many, loved by more, none other than Sugar Sean O'Malley. The popularity and attention this young fighter has managed to garner in such a short period of time is fascinating. It's not only his flashy personality outside the cage, but his incredible showings every time he steps into that octagon. Anyways, without further ado, let's look into why Sean O'Malley was and is destined for greatness. Number 5. Personal life. When you talk about a fighter's success, you can't ignore his roots, and Sean's friends and family were a big factor in him choosing to become a mixed martial artist. O'Malley was born on October 24th, 1994 in Helena, Montana, USA. We don't know much about his family growing up, but from what we do know, he has a close relationship with his mother and brother.
Oh my god, that hurt. That's not good.
Mom, stop, he's fine.
Oh, it actually hurts so bad. I actually feel bad now. Oh, look, he's fine.
Sean wasn't the smartest kid. He stated in multiple interviews that he thought school was useless and didn't teach him what he needed to know. One of his good friends actually introduced him to MMA during high school, and Sean was hooked. He dropped out of his sophomore year to pursue his new passion. That has set him up for his path to greatness. Being a high school dropout doesn't work out for most people, but for Sean, it definitely has. Fun fact, O'Malley went to a boot camp in his own words after dropping out, and got expelled after getting into a fight. I guess fighting is in his blood. What is the dumbest thing you guys have gotten into a fight over?
That's what I really enjoy, is knocking people out.
Let us know in the comments below. Jumping to the present, Sean's current family is a big motivator for him. He wanted to be a dad for a very long time, actually breaking up with a girl when he was a teenager because she didn't want to have kids. He got his wish in 2020 after having a daughter, Helena, with his longtime girlfriend, Danya Gonzalez. O'Malley has a family to support, and he will be able to do so because after all, he is destined for greatness.
It's just funny seeing her every morning. It's impossible to have any other feeling other than just like joy and love when they smile and drool, and even when she's pooping, it's just like the cutest thing. Everything she does is cute. 2020 I know is a tough year for a lot of people, but it was the best year of my life, hands down. Being a dad is the coolest experience I've ever had.
Number 4. Performances. You don't become a star without star performances, and throughout his career, Sean O'Malley has made sure that the fans are entertained. 10 out of O'Malley's 13 victories have come via finish, with 8 of them KOs, as he's primarily a striker. Sugar was on a 7-fight tear when the UFC gave him an opportunity on Dana White's Contender Series against 8-3 Armenian Alfred Kashakian at 135 pounds. Sean managed to knock him out after a very back-and-forth round 1, securing his UFC contract.
Close eye on Kashakian as he continues to take blows from O'Malley.
Oh, that's it!
That is it! Sean O'Malley with a huge right hand brings Dana White to his feet.
Who is your favorite Dana White's Contender Series alumni? Let us know in the comments below. O'Malley then won 2 in a row via decision before going on a 2-year hiatus from MMA, which we will get to later on, so keep watching. However, that time was not wasted. Sean worked a lot on his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and had a few exhibition bouts against some MMA legends. He is currently a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The Sugar Show was back in 2020, and after highlight reel KOs over Jose Quinones and Eddie Wineland, O'Malley tasted defeat for the first time in his career against Chito Vera at UFC 252. After bouncing back with a KO over Thomas Almeida at UFC 260, he is currently scheduled to face Kris Moutinho at UFC 264 on the Dustin Connor 3 card. Number 3. Outside the Octagon. Being a good fighter inside the cage is often not enough to be a star. Let's take a look at Alexander Volkanovski, for example. An amazing fighter with entertaining fights against fan favorites Max Holloway, but still no stardom. On the other hand, someone like Conor McGregor, who fights less often and hasn't had as much success as Volkanovski lately, is still a megastar. I mean, for Christ's sake, Alex hasn't even had a main event yet. Maybe coaching The Ultimate Fighter will help.
Oh! Sorry.
Sean isn't going to have that problem though. He keeps his fans entertained both inside and outside the cage. Let's start off with his gaming escapades. When Fortnite was at the peak of its popularity, the UFC star was building a Twitch channel around the game. Apparently, Sugar was making a whopping $4,500 a month through gaming, sustaining him through his period of inactivity, which we'll get into at number 2, so stay tuned. Sean got so good at the game that he placed 8th in a tournament, winning $27,500, which he donated to a special needs charity in Arizona.
Dropped a 17 bomb. Felt good, hadn't played in 5 days. You know, I got on and I popped off and I took the #1 spot for the team kills today. Played for a couple hours and popped off, and it's crazy. I'm just insane. It's like I'm cheating, but I'm not.
Sean also has a YouTube channel where he hosts the Timbo Sugar Show podcast with his head coach, Tim Welch. They have various guests on and not only discuss MMA, but various interesting topics. This, coupled with the gaming, exposes Sean to a very wide audience, explaining his 1.5 million follower count on Instagram. Omalley has grown into more than just a fighter, strengthening his path to greatness. Number 2, Controversies. Controversy gets people talking, and the saying any publicity is good publicity is usually true when it comes to public figures. I mean, the biggest star in the sport is the notorious Conor McGregor. For Omalley, success has come at a very young age, and naturally, any young adult is going to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Sean has had several controversies, and a few of them have to do with his aforementioned podcast. Sean stirred the pot by saying he would not be adverse to trying a certain narcotic whilst holding a baby.
Why not try it?
Oh, I know.
Because you're worried about what other people might think. Well, there might just be too pussy to.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna get addicted to something and ruin my life. I'm not stupid.
No. Well, you have more self-control and discipline than that.
Not only was the statement a bad influence for his listeners in terms of encouraging bad behavior, he was also insensitive to people who are struggling with addiction, which was even more controversial. Ironically, calling those people stupid is one of the stupidest things you can do. In the very same podcast where fellow UFC bantamweight Casey Kenny was featuring as a guest, there was an even more controversial moment, albeit not made by Omalley, but still on his podcast. Kenny was asked whether he would smash his colleague, UFC featherweight Megan Anderson, and this was his response.
Probably not, man. She's not too well.
Be honest.
I mean, if it came down to it, and it was like
You're
5
biased.
a.m. she's a 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or just
She's
us
all-
two hanging out.
She's piggybacking you to her room.
yeah. I'd be like, it, let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's no way to talk about a colleague, period, let alone publicly, and Megan responded with a couple of tweets. I guess MMA is a line of work where you can publicly talk about whether you'd have sex with a coworker in an utterly degrading way and face zero consequences. Disgusting behavior, and it's unfortunate that he'll be fighting on my card in March. Kenny did issue an apology on Twitter immediately after her tweets. I'm sorry this upset you. I will be more careful with my words. I was just answering a question and thought it was all a joking matter. I see I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Best of luck with training camp and your fight. The MMA community was split on this controversy. Some thought Megan overreacted, and it was purely a joke, and some thought Kenny was completely out of bounds. In the aftermath of the drama, Megan lost to the GOAT of women's MMA, Amanda Nunes, and Dana White decided not to extend her contract. Sean maybe unintentionally rubbed salt in the wounds in an interview with top MMA journalist Ariel Helwani. He was asked about the controversy, and this is what he had to say.
You can't let someone else's words affect how you feel emotionally. If you said something about me, and I don't know, I don't know. I think it's she's not a coworker anymore, so it is what it is.
Okay.
She's not a coworker anymore. Ouch. All this controversy is additional exposure for Sean, and with his brash personality, he will surely headline news articles again very soon. Omalley has also had controversy regarding failed drug tests. In September 2018, USADA flagged him for Ostarine, which Sean's management claims came from a tainted supplement. Due to some residue of the substance still being in Sean's system in May 2019, he was handed a 9-month suspension, and made his return to the Octagon in March 2020 against Jose Quinones. Number 1. Star Power. Sean Omalley is already a UFC star. That is unquestionable. Dana White and the matchmakers are doing everything they can to promote him, and the UFC PR machine is one of the most powerful ways to do so. Of course, it can backfire, like during the lightweight title fight between Chandler and Oliveira, where Michael Chandler was getting all the promotion, yet ended up losing. Sean Omalley has exclusively competed on big shows. Since the Ultimate Fighter finale, he has only fought on pay-per-view cards. Dana put him on the main event card at UFC 222, 250, and 260. and the upcoming 264. His fight at UFC 248 was the featured, and he actually co-headlined UFC 252, Stipe vs DC3. He was ranked number 15, and Chito Vera was unranked at the time, so for a fight like that to be the co-main event is astonishing and speaks volumes of the UFC's belief in O'Malley's pulling power. Sean's first viral moment was his post-fight interview at UFC 222. After fighting out the third round with an injured leg, Omalley managed to squeeze out a decision victory and gave his Octagon interview laying on his back, declaring his love for interviewer Joe Rogan in the process.
Taking this fight with me, nothing but respect. I love this game, I love the talk, I love the media, and I love everything about this sport. And I love you, Joe Rogan.
Well, I love you too, buddy.
His love for weed and outlandish haircuts also make him a fan favorite. He is very marketable for the UFC, but that doesn't only come down to those hairstyles, it also comes down to his style inside the cage. Sean has a very fan-friendly style, with unorthodox, fluid striking. He is very comfortable in both southpaw and orthodox. His 5'11" frame is very large for bantamweight, and he uses it to his advantage. After Suga's KO over Thomas Almeida at UFC 260, legendary boxing coach Teddy Atlas heaped praise on Omalley, claiming he hasn't seen someone as talented as him since Prince Hamed.
I haven't seen anyone this difficult a style and different, unique a style since the 90s, when in boxing I saw Prince Hasim Hamed, that was a world champion, undefeated world champion.
With such praise and faith from the company, Sean Omalley is undoubtedly destined for greatness. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Make sure to like and subscribe to never miss an Athlete Central video. Comment what video you want to see us make next. Until next time, stay safe.
I appreciate it. Thanks everyone that came out to watch. Welcome to the Sugar Show, everybody!
Sugar Sean Omalley, ladies and gentlemen.